Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining today for the session. As people are rolling in, please feel free to say hi in chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Maybe what your favorite Figma feature is, your role, if there's a favorite session you've had so far today. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. While we wait for a few more folks to arrive, maybe grab a drink or snack, settle in, and we'll kick things off shortly. Welcome from New York City. Okay, I think we'll kick things off and get the session going as people continue to roll in. Please feel free to please welcome everyone, and yeah, let's just get started. All right, so a little bit about before we start the session, a little bit about me. My name is Brian Hinton. I'm an accessibility lead at Grammarly, based in San Francisco, California. I've been working in various fields across design development for about 30 years now. And I've been running a variety of Figma groups since actually 2016. I host this group, the Friends of Figma San Francisco. As a community leader, I'm super passionate about creating spaces where people can connect, learn, and grow together. I'm thrilled to be hosting this part of the world tour with you today. So, this session is part of a 24-hour non-stop virtual celebration of the Friends of Figma community around the world. Because this event is built on true global collaboration, every participating Friends of Figma chapter is hosting their own session. Here in San Francisco, we have two sessions back to back. Our goal is to celebrate the richness and diversity of our global community while making these sessions accessible to anyone, anywhere. It's a powerful reminder of what we can do together. All right, let me welcome Avishay Cohen, CEO of Anima, who will be sharing some insights in the world of vibe coding. Let me hand it over to Avishai, and he'll take it away.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, everyone. So we'll speak about vibe coding today, and I don't know if you know the term. We'll start with an intro, then a review of the space, how we got here. We'll see a hands-on session, and then talk a bit about tips and about what's next for vibe coding, but also for the role of product designs, which changes. To be honest, it changes every couple of years, but now it will change again. So. Um, let me give you some background about myself. I'm CEO and co-founder here at Anima, and we are the #1 Figma partner when it comes to turning Figma into code and to serving the gap between designers and developers. We have 1.5 million installs on the Figma store, um, and um, and yeah, over the past 6 months or 9 months, we've been around this hype called vibe coding and seeing how we service our clients, and today our clients will get to that. Um, so let's start with at the beginning. What's vibe coding? So AI can code now, and it could from the first minute that ChatGPT came out, it could write code. But what changed end of last year is that it codes really really well. The tipping point was when Anthropic released their Claude 3.5 model, and then what changed is that the code is really, really good from the first shot. Usually you get what you ask for if you're not asking it to build Salesforce or Grammarly on a single shot. But if you ask for decent amount of functionality, you will get it and it will work 90% of the time. And that's mind-blowing because essentially everyone can code. Um, so the world is changing, and I wrote here 3 billion people can code. That's the number of people using Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. 3 billion people. And the way I see it, all of this audience, us, but also my mother, who's less technical, and my 8-year-old son, who's less technical, they will build, they're already building applications thanks to vibe coding. And the flow is fairly simple, and we'll walk through how it works for we'll walk through vibe coding for designers, essentially for product designers. And we're saying 3 billion people will code, but all of the people in the audience, they have you have a superpower. You also know product and you know UX. Now, if my 8-year-old create an app, he doesn't have the principles of how a good product should behave, but you do. So you now got a magic AI coder to code for you all your wild dreams, and you can build really, really cool stuff because, again, you have all those principles, you have all the knowledge, you have the understanding, and also you have technical understanding. Although you're not engineers, you've seen a lot of software along the years. So you have an advantage and you can do things that other couldn't. Now, just to talk a bit about the future, I don't think that AI will replace all engineers in the world. It will definitely change our jobs, but software will get to places that it couldn't before. And I just saw a post a minute ago about someone from the community who who sat in the line for his barber, and this is like a old style barber, first come first serve. But on the 15 minutes he waited, he was chatting with the barber, and he created him an app to have like a status of the queue, so people would know if they should come or not, and what's the busy time. And it took him 15 minutes, of course. So it would get to places you wouldn't have imagined that software would get, because it's cheaper and faster and easy, and people will solve problems with software and more of them. All right. So to continue, how we got here. We mentioned that we started with ChatGPT. Then we had already coding capabilities. We had coding assistants. We had copilots. Then it escalated. We got to agents, and it started with AI IDs like Cursor. You probably know the name. You're in the industry. And then again, the tipping point was Q4 last year, September last year, and Bolt came out with their prompt to app flow, Bolt.new, followed by Lovable, and now there's essentially hundreds, but I'd say there's more than a few decent solutions, and still today, all of these solutions are very generalist. The future of it, the way I see it in a nutshell, is verticalization. You will have different vibe coding tools for different tasks or different types of apps. But today we have a few products like Bolt and we also have Figma Make, of course, and we'll walk through that. So this is only the beginning. This is as bad as it gets in terms of vibe coding. It will only get better, and I can't imagine what we'll have in 10 years from now. All right. So today's vibe coding tools, I wanted to give you a quick brief on the space. So we mentioned we have Bolt and Replit and Lovable and V0. These are the top trending vibe coding platforms, and they will get you from an idea to production, all of them. Each one has nuances, and it has things that it does better. And if we talk about it in a nutshell, um, they're all very similar. Replit is a bit more technical and can do things that are heavier, but you need to be a bit more technical. Then Bolt is lighter, is for more people. Designers can use the Bolt really easily. Replit as well. But designers can use the Bolt and they can build web applications or mobile applications. You can have multiple types of code. Then Lovable is a bit more simplified, and it's more opinionated on what code it produces. It only does web applications. And V0 was there before, but it's again mostly for web applications. Yeah, I would say that the first three are the ones that are the newer ones and the ones that are more advanced and more popular today. Okay, their main goal is to go from idea to production. So usually you would start with a screenshot, a prompt, or in both and Replit and Visio as well, you can drop a Figma link. We actually partnered with both and Replit behind scenes. Anima generates the code when you paste a Figma link in both and Replit, so you get the same code quality as you do in Anima. All right, jumping to the next, Cursor and Windsurf are more technical and more for engineers. They are more powerful in the term of they can handle large masses of code, but it depends on the goal again. So if you prototype, if you ideate, then you should use the first category or the ones for designers we'll speak about in a minute. But if you want to go to production and publish and have a database and have a login, you need to choose one of the top. If you want to go deeper, you want to handle a large code base. Let's say that Brian decides he wants to vibe code on top of Grammarly, then he would probably need to use Cursor or Windsurf to handle the amount of code. But again, harder to set up, less made for designers and non-engineers. Next, we have a new trend. I'm mentioning it, although it's very early days for this category. These are vibe design tools where you prompt in order to get design. So behind scenes, this is actually vibe coding because the design there is code. It's basic HTML, basic CSS, but you don't care about code. You care about the design in these tools. And they both allow you to migrate your designs into Figma. So you could start prompting in Google Stitch or UX Pilot, create like a concept of an app, then click a few buttons, render it in Figma and go from there. So it's prompt to design. Again, still early days. It's not on brand. It's a bit new. And then there's vibe coding for designers. There is the Figma Make announced in the last config, and this has been designed for rapid prototyping. This is how Figma position it, and it's hosted in Figma. So you can see code, you can handle, you can tweak the code, but that code wasn't meant for engineers. It's hosted with Figma, and the whole flow is encapsulated in Figma. And you have Anima. So again, I mentioned that Anima already have the most popular plugin for developers, 1.5 million installs. We also have a vibe coding flow. But in this flow, you can do prototypes. You can also hand off that code to engineering. That's the key difference from Figma Make. And you also have capabilities that are not necessarily related to Figma. So to begin with, you can start with the Figma, but this is actually a silent release we had yesterday, you can also paste any Figma, any website link and remix that website. So you can take your marketing site, you can paste the link there, and then you can vibe code on that. You don't necessarily need to start from the Figma. You can do that to work on brand or to ideate or to modernize existing websites. Then you can also bring a full flow, multiple screens into Anima Playground. Figma Make is not there today. And again, you can hand off that code to engineering. That's the main difference. These are the main differences between Anima Playground and Figma Make. One interesting thing that we mentioned is that everything is powered by Claude behind the scenes today. Google is getting there. Gemini is also taking some of it, but the majority of the times when you ask for something, Anthropic Claude will code behind the scenes, and Anthropic grew in revenue 3 times from $1 billion to $3 billion in ARR over the past few months, thanks to this trend. And these guys are hyping. The generalist platforms are hyping. They're growing really, really fast because, again, everyone can code, and that's exciting because software gets to places it's never been. So what's the difference if everything is powered by Claude? The main difference is tools that it has behind the scenes, prompt engineering, and infrastructure. So, for example, again, when you drop a Figma link into Bolt, it could turn it into code that looks the same. We have a visual example here. When you ask Claude to turn an image into code, it will follow the instructions. It won't follow the visual guides. So, but if you do it in Anima, it will be one-to-one. And if you do it with Bolt, behind the scenes, it will use Anima, so it will be one-to-one. Lovable is not there. They do have an integration to Builder.io. It goes through the plugin. But they have different tools. So they handle images differently. They handle going through the web differently. They handle deployment differently. And they have different infrastructures. So again, Bolt could do React Native and Lovable couldn't. Okay, jumping to the next part, and that's demos. So I will share my screen and we'll do a short session of vibe coding. All right, so here you see my Figma. We'll start from what I can do, and then we'll do a short hands-on session just to show you how it works. And I think we can do it in Figma Make. I'll give you some examples on Anima, and then we'll do Figma Make. All right. So here I have a task board, an Asana-like design, and I designed it, not me actually, Ogi, our very, very talented product designer, designed this example. If it was me, it was rectangles because I'm an engineer. All right. So I'm taking this design from Figma. I can open Anima's plugin and click prompt in Playground, or I can simply paste that link, like Command L, paste that link into animapp.com, and I will get here to a vibe coding environment. So this one I already did for like 30 minutes. I made it work, so you can mark tasks done. You get a confetti because it only takes make a confetti when I mark a task down. I can reorder things. I can edit the task name. I can sort this, and all of these functionalities, each one of them was a single prompt. Like, allow me to drag and drop tasks. Allow me to change the task name when I click it, and add tasks when I click add task, and sort them alphabetically and search. So everything worked. The section. Then I played with it a bit more, and I added some nice micro interactions. To do it properly, it does require a full prompt. And maybe I'll jump to a few tips here. So you need to be very specific about what you want when you want micro interactions, for example. I needed to tell it to center the icons and to hide the text, and what amount of pixels, like what's the new width when it shrinks. and I could probably do it better, but just to show you what's possible. And then I made it responsive, and I'm hiding the menu when it's mobile. Um, and I don't know if I did it here. No, but in a different version, I also asked it to make me a concept of the board task, and I described it in text, and it did a very fair job and stayed on brand. So this is also great for ideation. You start with your product, then you need another section, then you need another idea. But if you already working on a design that is yours, and you have all the elements there and the theming, um, and you're on brand, so it will do a fair job giving you ideas. So I know Michelle, my co-founder who leads the product at Anima, she does a lot of brainstorming with LLMs in terms of UX. And the way she do it, she could do it in text or screenshots in GPT or Claude. But when she comes here or to Figma Make, she could start with her own design and then go from there. All right. So this is an example of what's possible. Another tip is, and we have it in the tips list, but in order to make it responsive, I actually took screenshots. So an important tip is that the LLM only see what you tell it, and it also sees the code, but it doesn't see the rendering of it. Not always, not in all tools. So the first iteration, this is what I had in mobile. So I took a screenshot and I told it, listen, this is what I have in mobile. Make it responsive so it looks nice. I didn't give it specific examples. I took more freedom. I did a fair job in this case. But if I wanted to control, I needed to specify exactly what I want. So if you wanted to give it more freedom, be vague. If you want to get exactly what you want, be specific. All right. Then in Anima, you can also publish, so you can get a public link. If you scan this, probably too small. But if you scan this, you'll get this app on your phone because it's public. And you'll get a link under Anima, and it's all under your Anima team, so you can show with the team. And the cool thing is they can hand over this link to engineering because there's also code here, and that code they could download, they could keep on tweaking it, or push it to GitHub. And they can also fork and clone that. So again, Anima was made for product engineering teams. You could ideate, you could prototype, but you could also use it for handoff, and the code is valuable for engineers. This is Anima, and let's jump to one more nice example here. I took a full prototype, and I have links here. So when I selected the first screen in Anima, I could actually select multiple screens. I won't go into breakpoints, but if you want, we have some documentation about it. Then I clicked Prompting Playground, and what I got is the full thing. So again, it's responsive because I added auto layout, and this circle in Figma turned into the actual radio button, and the chips are working, including the instructions, by the way. I couldn't select more than 3 here, which is cool. Again, if you have hints in the design, the LLM will pick it up. And then I only did one prompt here to add this cute Tinder-like animation. Again, I could publish it. And yeah, and the next thing you can do with Anima, if you go to animapp.com, after you log in, you get to devanimaapp.com. You can actually, and that's fairly new, you can paste links here. So if you take apple.com, you could duplicate Apple, and you could use it as a template, or you can create a concept for Apple website, but you could also redesign your website or prototype on top of something that you don't necessarily have the Figma for, but it is live and out there. So this is cool, either for inspiration or for ideating on a live product. Anima can do that as well. It doesn't have to be a Figma. Took a few more websites here. This one is our blog. It's a WordPress one, and I recreated it and connected it to a backend in 5 minutes with some animations to give the marketing team motivation to take this version. All right, jumping to the next part, and here I want to show you real quick. We don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to show you how it works. So, and we'll do it in Figma Make because we saw in Anima you would simply take the link, go to anima.com, paste it, or prompt in Playground in the plugin to do it in Anima. In Figma Make, what you do is you copy that frame, you go here, you paste that frame, and then you need to give it a prompt. So I would say implement, just something basic. It will think, it will create me the first version of that code, and then I could iterate and ideate. Here I have, let me examine what I want to show you here. So I thought maybe we show you, according to the last Figma survey, many of you are building agents or agentic flows or LLM-based products. So I said, okay, why won't we create a nice chat? But we can actually connect it to an LLM thanks to vibe coding. So when I chat with it, it will answer. So I then went, well, Figma Make is thinking. I then went and signed up to Grok. And Grok will give you a free API key. You generate that, you copy that. It's a bit technical, I'm sorry, but if you want to connect an LLM, this is the way to go. So you create an API key. Then I copied what it says here, view code, and then I'm taking this code snippet example and the token, and I will tell Figma Make, like I told Anima here, just to make it work. About life. Oh, I didn't do it in this one. Let's tell it about design system. Yeah, it does work. There are glitches. I only did a couple of prompts, but I already made it work in Anima. Let's see how we do it in Figma Make. It's still working. Yeah, meanwhile, let's create the prompt. So I want to tell it make the chat work, and I'll give it a few bullets, and you can ask the LLM to do a few things at the same time. Okay, that's nice. The buttons turn into buttons. It's actually okay. It simulates a response on the first chat. This is nice, but now we want it to actually work. So make this chat work. Let's only tell it connect it to Grok as the LM. And this is an important tip. You don't want to hard code secretive stuff in the code because it's vulnerable, it's not safe. So I would tell it to ask me for the API token and remember it for next time and do it with a nice model. It should say on brand, although I'm not specifying the modal, but you could do it in the code if it's interesting. I'm sorry, in the design if it's interesting. I'll tell it this is the code example from Grok website. The reason I chose Grok, by the way, there are a few services that give you some free credits for LLMs. The reason I chose Grok is because it's really, really fast. All right, I'm gonna give it the example. That's a copy paste. Sorry, it's technical. But then it should work. I probably should have told it store the chat and put it here, but at this point we're already on CloudSonnet 4. It will figure it out. That's the magic of it. It will figure it out, and let's see if it works. Yeah, let's give it a second. Maybe while it's working, just to emphasize the differences. So the code here, while it's very fair React code, it will use, we actually see it here in real time. It will use assets inside Figma. It's not code that you can hand over to engineering. It uses dependencies from Figma engineers cannot just download the code or work on it. So again, it's amazing for prototyping, and it's free today at least, and including Figma. You should definitely try it out. Um, and then another big difference is that Figma Make is fairly new. It doesn't have some of the features that Anima and Bolt and Replit has, and that's for example, when it makes a change to the code, it will rewrite the whole project, and that takes a lot of time. In Anima, that would have taken probably 1/10 of the time, 10 seconds, 20 seconds instead of 2 minutes. So that's a big difference. Today, they will figure it out. It will progress, but it's about the concept and what's behind it. Figure Make is for prototyping. When you play with it, when you share internal POCs, you can use Figma Make. Anima in terms of code quality, handoff, probably also handling larger screens and more complex stuff. Anima will do the code better. Right. Okay, you'll need to trust me that it will work. I think we should go back to the slides at this point. Let's give it another second. But essentially, if I keep on working here, I could tell it to store chats locally, and I could tell it to create a chat when I click that button and go back and forth. And then I could tell it, here there's a glitch, right? So I would tell it, listen, the right part is scrollable and the top part is sticky and the left part is sticky, but also scrolls within the chat. So you could also, like we said, you could also append and compound those instructions on a single chat. I wouldn't overcomplicate a single chat message, a single instruction, but if it's related, let's say it all relates to the layout. This is scrollable, this is scrollable, this is sticky. I would do it in a single prompt with a few bullets. Yeah, let's see. All right, it's working. So let me paste my Grok copied API key. Let's see if it's working. Okay. All right. I want to say nice. Live. ChatGPT would figure it out, but Llama doesn't. Anyway, one more tip if you're doing messages with LLMs on your apps, this is Markdown, so you can tell it support Markdown in the message box, and this will turn into italic in this case, and these will turn into bullets, etc. All right, jumping back to the slides. Let me stop sharing. By the way, if you have questions, feel free to start sending them on the chat, or we'll have a Q&A session in a minute, so save it for a minute. And a few tips, and we already spoke about a few. Start with the design. If you don't, and you start with a prompt, that's also okay, but you have a superpower, you can give it a design. Even if it's not the exact thing that you want, but you want it on brand and you want some elements from it, you can simply take a Figma design, a Figma template, a Figma, even a public community file, and start with that. Then you'll be on brand and it will work on the first shot, usually. So I would start with the design, especially for this audience that has that superpower. So you have more control and you're on brand. Then the next thing is that sometimes it gets things wrong, or it shows you a bug, and you have a fix button, and let's say you click the fix button, but it didn't fix it. After one attempt, two attempts, I would roll back, undo 2 times, and try again, because it could go down a rabbit hole and change many things in order to try to solve a simple problem that it could have avoided to begin with. So I would just undo, change a bit the prompt, maybe make it more simple or more clear, and then try again. Usually that's easier than fix it. multiple edits. We mentioned it. You can do multiple edits in a single prompt, but it's only if it's related. I wouldn't do something that is huge and give it the whole spec for the whole app in a single prompt, unless it's the first prompt and then it's okay because it will set the ground for some of it. Maybe do it shallow on the edges. Be specific. You have visual selectors in those tools. Take screenshots. If you want to tell it it looks bad on mobile, there's a glitch in the CSS, yada yada, take a screenshot, let it see what's the problem. Okay, say more. If you give it more context, it has less freedom and it will go to where you probably want it to go. And then you should try the voice feature. I don't remember if Figma Make has it, but Anima definitely has a record button. So if you click the record button or the native Mac dictate, then you can give it something more verbose and you can just speak and describe your ideas and use free language and it will figure it out. But you can be more specific and say more. Safety, we said, backend is a bit tricky. Don't connect it to sensitive backends. Don't give it secrets. If you want, like we just did, tell it to ask the user for the secret and pass it in a different channel. That way it's safer, but usually if you're ideating or prototyping, you're safe. Connecting an LLM, we just saw, I would recommend Grok because it has a free tier and it's very, very fast. And then if the code is too large and you see that more in Make, for example, because it's newer, again, they will figure it out. But what Anima would do behind the scenes, it would break it down into components. So we saw Make, for Make it took a few minutes to add some basic functionality. Anima would have done it differently. It would break it down into components to begin with. It would only make small changes only to the components it needs to. But if the vibe coding platform you're using doesn't do it, at some point it's too slow, you can tell it, refactor the code, break it into components, and behind scenes it will make code components. And it will be either for the LLM to iterate the code. And then if you're playing around, you saw it took us 2-3 minutes to get a result. You can open 5 windows and you can vibe code 5 times, 5 things in parallel. So definitely do that, especially while you're ideating. If you have ideas, if you're learning, use many of these. Okay, last thing, a glimpse to the future. So vibe coding for designers, today, again, it's early days for everything because the trend only started end of year last year, and it's been 9 months. By the way, 9 months, and the platforms are already at tens of millions of ARR, valued at billions of dollars. So it's crazy in terms of the valuation and the pace, but it's still early days. There's going to be many, many features. For us in the design space, we will see at least Anima go and integrate with proprietary design systems. So even when you prompt, you will get your designs on brand and using the design system in code, then engineering could use that and you're not off the spectrum. Then vibe coding on real products, I just showed the link to code in Anima. Try it out. Let us know how it works. And that's the idea. You'll be able down the road, the way I see it, you'll be able to prototype and ideate on the real product. That's where we headed. And the world is changing. The new design is code. And there will be AI native design tools like we just saw, UX Pilot and Google tool, and then the research is faster. You can use that's even on the textual side of things. You can ask, and you should ask GPT-03 with search to make your research on pricing plans structures and what's the trends. And if you want to be very accurate and want to learn from the industry, you should use LLM for that. But next, you will have similar things with UX, like I said, Michelle, my co-founder, and Ogi, our designer. They do Figma to Anima, then they ideate with the LLM to tweak the design and get ideas. All right. User testing with real code, we just saw. You can send that link to users. Down the road, you will be able to do it in the actual product. And yeah, I see designers pushing code to GitHub because you will just vibe code and you will create a pull request just as easy as you click publish today. There will be more and many more models, more apps, more magic happening in the next few months and few years. We're only starting. So we're done with the slides. I will jump into the Q&A section. All right. So, Brian, I'm not sure. Okay, I can see the Q&A.
Yeah, we have about 10 minutes, everyone, for Q&A. So yeah, Avishai, if you want to grab a few questions and we'll run through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
L is
LB is
asking
asking
about
about
multiple screens,
multiple
hundreds
screens.
of screens involved. It's not there yet. I can tell you about Anima, but definitely Figma Make. Maybe Bolt and Lovable. Today, in order to do something very complex, you will need to use a cursor or windsurf, but it's changing. Anima could do a single screen a month ago, and now it could do 10 screens, and soon it will be able to handle hundreds of screens. So not today. Today we'll need to do a single flow, but down the road, like in the next few months, probably also having hundreds of screens involved. For these vibe coding tools, can we bring in our own design system? It's a good question. So not yet. We're going there, and we'll get there. We actually, if your company is looking to do that, reach out to Anima. So we'll get you in once you're starting to get companies in. What you do have today is the design to code that will keep you on brand. So if your buttons or cards look in a certain way, the implementation will look like your design system. So you will kind of get an intermediate design system in code for your prototyping. But it won't be the right thing to hand over to engineering. Again, if your team is looking for such a solution, reach out to Anima. We have a solution today. It will be available in vibe coding hopefully in a couple of months, but we maybe can get your teams in sooner. Would I be able to copy and paste the code? Oh, definitely. So Figma Make, no, you cannot take the Figma Make code and paste it somewhere else. That's the challenge. It was meant to run within Figma, but in Anima, definitely. You can download that. You can get it into hosting services. WordPress is a bit tricky because WordPress works on PHP. So maybe, let's say you're building a calculator or a widget, then you could embed that as a widget, an iframe, as embed code in a platform that doesn't take React applications or HTML pages. But with Anima, you can definitely take the code and go somewhere else. Are designers the new product managers? Well, the lines blur. Are they the new product? Are they the new front-end engineers? Maybe. So I think yes, in many ways, lines are blurring. Also, product managers will be able to ideate ideas and to ping pong with your design. So you could hand off your design as a Figma Maker or Anima project, and product managers could ideate on top of that and stay within the boundaries of your design. That's also important. But yeah, you will have more power on product and on design. So yes, lines are blurring and the role is definitely changing. How does LLM handle big prompts like full PRD? Not that bad, actually. Again, if it's a full PRD that is related to the same feature, not that bad. The challenge with the scope, and today Claude can do 200,000, let's say 200,000 words, although it's tokens. It could fit a large PRD. The challenge is the code that keeps on growing and blowing, and needs to hold your PRD along with the code. The code is usually larger than the PRD. Let's see the examples. Code based on the link, single frame. Okay, the quality of the output. So in terms of the quality of the output today, Anima will give you a very decent code for your engineers if they're working on React and open source libraries. So I would simply hand over the link to the playground to engineering. Brian, how are we with times? Do you have time for more questions?
Yeah, one more question, and then we'll move on. Yeah.
Okay. How many states did I had to design? Actually, I did not design any states. So the cool thing about the design to code is that we'll figure it out. The radio button that we saw, it didn't even have a state. It was a circle. So you do not need to do. That's something actually very different from prototyping in Figma and vibe coding. You don't have to do all the variants. You can start with something very plain and very simple and single variant and not even components, and the LLM will figure it out. It will pick it up. And what you don't have in variants and it didn't figure out on the first shot, just prompt it. It's easier and faster to do. Yeah. Questions about no coding tools. So no coding tools eventually will come into the vibe coding tools space. That's the next phase. Sorry, Brian.
Oh, all good. Awesome. Yeah, so we're moving on in the session here, and while I'm continuing through the next few slides here, Avishay, if you want to look over the Q&A, one lucky Q&A question will get a gift card to the Figma store. So yeah, if you just look through
so
it.
many good questions.
And I will continue on with some of these slides here while you're taking a look. And before we wrap up, a quick heads up on what's coming next. Up next, we've got another San Francisco session. Matt Armstrong. Yeah, definitely stick around too if you asked a question, because that's how we'll deliver the gift card. Matt Armstrong will be presenting on brand expressiveness in products. If you're interested, just scan this QR code and register right away. You can still join if you haven't RSVP'd yet. And remember, you can watch all sessions later because all session recordings will be available on our official YouTube channel. We'll also share the links on our website and social, so you can rewatch your favorites or catch up anything you missed. And we'd also really love your feedback. This event is made by the community for the community, and your voice helps us shape an even better experience next year. So scan the QR code and share your thoughts, and help make the World Tour even more amazing in 2026. Before we move on to the last one, do we have a lucky winner?
Yeah, it was really hard to pick actually. So kudos to everyone asking about the space and asking about how it works. So I would give it to Lillian for asking about design systems and vibe coding.
And Lillian, I am sending you in the chat the gift card code, and there's a shipping code as well. And yeah, respond back that you've gotten it okay. And yeah, this slide pulls at my heartstrings. It shows the incredible lineup of chapters and the people involved that have volunteered their time to make this event happen. Thank you everyone for joining the session of Friends of Figma World Tour. And thank you. I hope you all enjoy the next session. And Lillian, did you get that message? Just want to confirm. Yep. Oh, great. So I hope to see you all in the next session. Have a good rest of your day, evening, morning, etc. See you, everyone.